Hi there, Karen here, and today I'm doing something different. I'm not doing one of another baby layout this time. I'm doing a layout from our holiday in Spain last year. This is a couple of pictures from a lunch that we had on our terrace. The kids were all going back. They couldn't stay for the whole week, so it was a bit of a farewell lunch. What I'm doing is I'm finally breaking into the two kits that I hadn't from HipKit I hadn't used yet. There was the December 2017 and the January 2018. They've been sitting on my shelf. I've been meaning to use them, but I just hadn't got around to it. So I've actually put the two kits together because they both have very similar papers in them. I think they're both got quite a lot of exclusives, and they're also both using the Crate Paper Good Vibes collection. So I've just married the two lots together, and I'm just diving into them and using them for this layout. So I've just started by using that black and white stripe just to do a piece to cover the top half of the layout, and then I'm backing the two photos. My original idea was that the photo that I'm backing at the moment with the blue and white polka dot paper. I can't remember if this paper, the black and white stripe and the blue and white, which is on the same piece the other way around, whether that's a HipKit exclusive or from the Good Vibes. I think it's a HipKit exclusive paper. My original idea was to make that one really pop up higher than the other one, because that's when everybody's looking at the camera and raising their glasses and just basically saying cheers. But in the end, I keep them pretty much on a similar level. So I'm just sticking this black and white paper down, and I've just torn the bottom edge. I'm really into tearing my papers at the moment. I've been doing that on quite a few of my layouts. It's not something I used to do at all. I used to be very precise and like to use my trimmer, but I've started doing quite a lot of tearing. And I love this paper. This is from the Good Vibes collection that's called All Good, with all the flowers and the birds on. I think it's really pretty. So I decided just to tuck it under that torn edge at the bottom there, just to give a little bit of interest at the bottom. So it wasn't quite just dark black and white all the way down. I just wanted to break it up and add a bit of colour in, because the photos are quite colourful, and I thought that would just give a nice little bit of interest. So I'm just going to tuck that under there. And I think that works quite well. And I've backed the top photograph just with some plain back cardstock, and I'm going to do a little bit more backing on the other one. But in the meantime, I've decided to go for a bit of mixed media. This isn't my best attempt at mixed media. I'm using some white gesso, and I'm going to do a bit of packaging technique, and it's it's okay, and obviously it ends up getting mostly covered out, but it wasn't something that went as well as I'd hoped. It didn't quite fulfill my vision of how it should have looked. But that's often the way with this, especially. But I don't really get on with the packaging technique. I keep trying, but it's not my best thing. I'm usually a bit better using moulding paste and things like that. But I'm keep giving it a go, because I know that a lot of it will get covered, so you can kind of experiment and not feel it's too dramatic. So while that's just drying there, I'm just giving back in the photograph a bit more with another one of these papers from the Good Vibes. Just picking out the sort of a variety of colours to back it with. So I decided that blue was the colour I was going to go with, and I've used a Dylusions ink spray in London Blue, and I'm just watering it down a little bit, because there's quite a lot of blue in the photos. My husband's wearing a blue t-shirt, and there's quite a bit of blue in the photo, so I thought I'll just do a bit of blue on the background and splodging it all around and making a nice old mess. So I'm just seeing if that's enough. It doesn't quite show on the other side of the photos, although the white of the gesso is showing. So I'm going to add a bit more. Keep going, keep adding more. Or this time I've decided to add some at the bottom, and I haven't gessoed because it's not going to be a very thick layer. It's not going to make it too wet. Whereas I did the gesso on the black and white paper just to knock back the black a little bit, to kind of give it more of a surface to do the ink on. So now I'm using my Heidi Shine in the teal to do some splatters around the edges of the ink splatter that I've already got on there, or the ink splodge, I suppose you call it. So I splattered around, putting that aside to dry, and now I'm going to get my photographs ready to go on the page by adding some tape. Trying to decide whether the other photo needs any more backing, and I've decided to put some foam on it. As I say, that was going to be raised up a bit higher than the other one initially. I'm just laying it on there, and actually you can see plenty of blue at the bottom, but not very much blue at the top. So my next idea, this was something that was in the kit that I thought I'd have a go with. These are some Vicki Boutin stickers that are meant to be for watercolouring. So I found this page with all the flowers on, and I thought, well, let's have a go with this. Let's have a go at doing some flowers. I wasn't very happy with how the blue splodging was going, but nevertheless, looks like I'm going to do some more. So adding a bit more, making it go a little bit, but this time I'm placing it where I want it. So I've got a paintbrush out, and I'm painting it to take it a bit wider on the page, so that it shows a little bit more around the photo. So making a much bigger splodge than I had in the first place, which I'm not sure was really the way to go. And using again the Heidi Shine in the teal to add a little bit of shiny blue. And okay, yeah, it really shows now. Now I've really gone and done it. So yeah, it needs to dry, and I know I'm not all that keen on the way it's going, even though I kept on doing it, but wasn't sure. So I thought, well, maybe that some of these flowers will help if I have a go with the flowers, and maybe I'll be able to cover some of it up. So I got out my little watercolour palette. As you can see, it's not something I've done very often. It's hardly been used. It's in almost pristine condition. It's not something I have I've done a little bit occasionally, but not very much. So I thought I'd give it a go and paint some of these lovely flowers. There's some roses. I think they're all mainly roses. So I'm just having a go with the paints and doing some roses. I'm not going to make you watch me do the whole thing. So that's the first one. And then I thought, I didn't really want to just stick it on the page because I wasn't sure where I wanted them. So I stuck it to some card, and I'm going to cut it out. It just makes it easier then when I want to place them on the page. I can move them around and not have them keep sticking. And it gives them a little bit more structure as well, because they were curling right up there. They were quite thin, the stickers. So I thought I'll stick them to cardstock. So, and I've carried on going. I've done some more flowers. I found a different flower on another page. And as you can see, I've also done a few leaves, which I'm going to stick on as well. And I've already stuck on there one of the flowers. I decided it would be quite nice just to have one or two just in black and white. I didn't paint them all, so I've already stuck that one on there, that one in the top right corner. I thought a couple of them could just stay black and white and continue with the black and white theme from the background. And then my next idea was to do a bit of fussy cutting. I was going to do the bird. I've got it ready, but I didn't actually use it. But I am going to cut out a load of these flowers from this paper because I thought the paper was really pretty. I've already used it a bit, so why not cut out some of these flowers? It's all a little bit about distraction because I'm not really keen on where this page is going. I don't really like the blue paint that I've put on there, so I'm just finding other things to do that might enable me to perhaps cover up a lot of that blue afterwards. So I just keep going, colouring some of those flowers, cutting out some flowers, and now I've decided to do a bit more backing on these photos. I've got some of these black hearts on white paper, which I think is also it's a Hip Kit exclusive by Kim Watson, and I'm going to back both photographs with the same paper to bring them together a little bit, because I haven't really made them match very much. I thought it would be good to have one matching piece of backing paper so that they kind of make them a little bit more cohesive. There we are. And that backing paper, I've also outlined it, as you saw there, with a black pen, just to give it an edge to make it sort of pop a little bit from the back of the page. I'm trying to decide what else I need to do. And I've decided to put the foam on the back of that top one. Originally that was going to be a second layer of foam on the bottom one to make that really stand out, and I just thought, no, I want them to actually both be at the same level, I've decided. So I put the foam on the back of that one instead. And I'm just starting to tuck in some of these flowers, because there were flowers around us. It was a beautiful spot, and they seemed appropriate to surround the photos with flowers. And what am I going to do now? Oh, I'm just going to have a look through the Good Vibes ephemera pack to see if there's anything that I can use. So I just flick through all of those. I pick out a few that I think might work on the page. I quite like that cactus. It doesn't actually in the end make it onto the page, but I think it probably would look quite good in that position if I'd have left it there. So I pick out a few bits and pieces that might work. They're all so big, a lot of these ephemera these days. They're not that easy to tuck in. I already had a lot of flowers, and in the end the ephemera from the Good Vibes pack none of them end up making it, I don't think, onto this page. So I'm now looking to see, do I need any more flowers? I may well do. Am I going to I can't remember. Yes, I think I am going to do a few more flowers. I'm just tucking in the ones I've got so far. I'm thinking I might just do a bit more. I'm sticking on the leaves that I've cut. I haven't put those onto cardstock. I'm just going to tuck them in and stick them straight in. I think they look quite nice, just curving around the roses at the top. And I thought, well, I can start to stick some of these flowers in now. Now I know where I want them to go. I'm going to start sticking them down, and then I'll see what else I need. And I think you'll find I need some more flowers. There we go, getting out the little watercolour palette again, and I'm going to do a bit more painting. I had such fun the first time. I haven't really done much of this, as I said, and I've really enjoyed it. I found it's been such fun. I'm not a great painter. I'm not very good at the shading and all the clever stuff that so many people do, but I still enjoyed myself, and I thought, well, why not just paint them while I'm in the mood for painting. I'm going to do a few more. I'm not going to make you watch me do all of it. Just how I got started on this one. There we go, that one's done. I'm going to have a pink one and a corally one, and eventually there'll be a blue one as well. So that little watercolour palette there, that it's a really cheap one from a local craft shop. I think I bought it, or I might have got it from Amazon. Dead cheap, hardly ever used, but it really came good for these flowers, and I really enjoyed using it. There we are. So I've stuck them onto cardstock as I did with the others, and I'm just popping it in there. And I'm carrying on sticking them down in the around that top photograph. I've mainly used the ones that I cut out, the fussy cut ones around the bottom photo, and all the ones I've painted have all gone around the top photo. Well, most of them, not all of them. And some more little leaves just to tuck in. So finally I'm going to start sticking my photos on, and that's going on there. And then I'm going to just tuck in all the flowers around this bottom photo. There we are, they're all stuck on. And as you can see, I've managed to cover up nearly all of the packaging paint or the ink that I put on there with the packaging technique. There's just a few little bits round and about hinting out, and that's all it needed really, just those few little bits of blue. So I'm just working on my title now. I had awful trouble trying to think of a title because I didn't really want to say farewell lunch. That would just seem too boring. So in the end, I thought it's been fun, because really that's what they've been saying to us. They had a really fun time with us, and we enjoyed their company for a few days. They just went home a couple of days earlier than us. They had things they had to get back to, as young people do these days. They had meetings or whatever it was they had to get back for. So we just had this lunch, which was a really lovely lunch, and it was everybody saying it's been fun spending this time together, and it really was. And that's pretty much, I'm just saying on my bit of journaling there, saying that they all had to go back a bit earlier, and this was our final lunch together on the terrace. And there we are. I'm just putting the date on. So that was it. That's my layout. So thank you for joining me, and do join me again soon, where there'll be some more mixed media coming in a similar fashion. Goodbye.